Good evening, guys, girls. Me and
Actually,
Tim.
it's I can't even
Yeah,
do the
that
reverse
way.
one.
You're
NWO
that way. You're
points.
not that way, even though you look like you're
Right.
that way to me. Yeah, I got it. Tim's with me tonight, Tribe fan. Um, let's tell you. Let's just give a rundown of everybody tonight. First off, um, Keith won't be with us. He's meeting up with friends. Very cool situation. Next, Harris is on a ship. He's doing a cruise. So Harris is out on the cruise. He may make it tonight. There's a chance. And my man Anthony, they just had a grandchild, and he's watching the bigger sister, I think, of the grandbaby. So the one that's newborn, mom and dad's at the hospital with that one, and grandparents are watching the older one. So very very cool. Glad you could make it with me here tonight, Tim. How you doing?
I'm doing all right.
All right. Um, we'll see how much better you'll be doing when I tell you this right here, because it looks like everybody has a reason not to be here when they have bad weeks. College picks. Anthony's not here this week. 6-10. Keith 7-9. Tim, you went 8-8. Me and Harris went 9-7. Pros, totally different thing. None of us got last night right, did we?
No, I think we all went with Buffalo. Yeah.
Yeah, we all went Buffalo there. Um, Keith went 5-9. Harris 6-8. Tim, you went 10-4. Anthony went 7-7. Darlene went 3-11, and I went 9-5. So yeah, you dominated the week. What's up, Sean? What's going on? So this week coming up. Oh yeah, and your picks of the week last week, Survivor pick Chiefs. No problem there. No problem there. You go against Washington. All you got to do is pick a new team every week.
Yeah, that's getting to be
Yeah, it's
a
going to be
bit more
habit forming,
difficult.
isn't it? Yeah. All right. Let's start tomorrow night. Tomorrow night. Now we don't see many Wednesday night games in college, but
Uh,
top 25 team, number
right.
14, Coastal Carolina, going to Appalachian State, 3.5. There's some concern here. Anytime you get a top 15 team, 3.5. What do you like here?
I actually kind of looked up App State. They really don't have any really good wins. So, I mean, I understand that App State will probably get up for this game. That's probably why, and it's at App State.
Yeah,
But still, give me Coastal Carolina to cover 3.5 on the road.
I got you. I got you. Um, this is where I think Coastal may trip up. I really do. App State, very tough place to play. It's up in the mountains around Asheville, North Carolina. It's not easy even to get to. And then once you're there, it's a little higher. Obviously it's not mile high air or anything like that. I like App State straight up here in this game, but I will definitely take the 3.5. Um, but I think Appalachian State has a great chance of winning this outright.
So you're putting it like the equivalent to like Mexico City.
Or Denver, yeah. Even when you go
Okay.
into Denver, yeah. Thursday night game, we got Tulane going to SMU. SMU, a 14-point favorite. Um, I'll start with this one. SMU's played down to the competition a lot this year. 14 points. They're at home. You can get in the top 20 if you win this week. I like SMU. Go for it, Tim.
Yeah, I like SMU as well.
All righty. All right, let's go to Saturday. Noontime. Cincinnati, number 2 in the country. They're traveling to Navy. 27.5 points. What are you liking here?
I don't think the slowdown game's going to work with Cincinnati. Give me Cincy the cover.
All right. Um, I am going just the opposite way here. I think Cincinnati will definitely win the game, but I think it could be 39-40 to 25 or something like that. That's not 27.5 points. Cincinnati wins. They do not cover. We go to Oklahoma. Well, actually, we go to Kansas. Um, where the Wizard had Wizard of Oz, number 3, Oklahoma goes to Kansas. Kansas, 38.5 point dog, and I don't care. I think Oklahoma this week is going to be pissed. 60 points minimum they put on the board. I like Oklahoma here. Tim.
100% agree. 60
All,
plus for Oklahoma.
all right. Next is Illinois, heading to number 6 Penn State. Penn State, 23.5 point favorites. Who you liking?
Illinois has showed me absolutely zero this year. Give me Penn State to cover.
Yeah, I'm with you. If they don't score 50, it'll surprise me, and if Illinois scores 17, it will surprise me. I got it to score like 48-10, and that's well within covers right there. Next, we got Northwestern at number 7, Michigan, 21.5 point favorites. Michigan hadn't played a lot of people. Northwestern is a team that's it makes you tinge once in a while. You don't know what to expect. Kinda like Purdue. They're a little bit like Purdue. The only difference is Michigan is at home in front of 104,000 people. Michigan wins this ball game. They don't come close to covering. Probably a touchdown, maybe much as 10 points. I like Northwestern here easily to cover. Tim.
I will disagree with you because maybe Northwestern might be lucky to score 3, maybe 7 points with that
Oh,
Michigan defense.
all right. We will see. Okay. Going your way now. Wake Forest, 3.5 point favorites is all it is. 3 and a hook. Going to Army. Is this going to be their trip up game? They're undefeated. They're undefeated. What do you think?
I don't think so. I think Wake maybe wins by a touchdown, which means it's a cover.
All right. Um, I got Wake winning this game by 10 points. I don't think it's a trip up game. If Army was a run and gun type team, it would scare the hell out of me. Being that play on the ground a lot, there's too many chances that the ball hits the ground, and when it does, it means business. I like Wake in this game. Next, we got number 8, Oklahoma State. They are getting no respect. Iowa State's a 6.5 point favorites. I don't understand this line. I'm sorry. This is one I don't understand. Tim can agree with me if he wants to. Oklahoma State, all they got to do is win here, and they cover. I think they win the ball game. Oklahoma State wins a field goal game. I'm taking Oklahoma State. Tim?
I don't disagree with you. I think maybe part of it's because it's at Ames, and maybe they think it's a bigger home field advantage, but I don't agree with it.
All right. Who wins this game?
Oh, Oklahoma State does.
You think they'll win too? I
Yeah.
agree. I think definitely the line is bent too far. I'm with you. All right, Tim. Oregon, number 10, traveling to. Now, how about this one? Number 10 team traveling to UCLA, and UCLA is a 1.5 favorite. What do you think?
Oh, they must not know which way is up with Oregon. Maybe I don't either, but give me Oregon to win by a field goal.
Yep, I'm with you. And you know what? I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. 48-45. If I were going to play it, I'd definitely play the over too. If you wanted to,
Yeah.
if you wanted to go, what do you think? Over?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I definitely like the over in this ball game. Next, we got LSU at number 12. Ole Miss. Ole Miss a 10.5 point favorites. LSU's gotten scared now. LSU played its best game of the year last weekend. They're traveling to Ole Miss this weekend. They're playing for a new coach. And who are we going to get? Are we going to get James Franklin? Are they going to get Fickle? Are they, hell, even Lane Kiffin could be leaving Ole Miss to go to LSU. We don't know. I think LSU shows up for this game. They're not going to win, but I think they cover 10.5. I will take LSU. Go for it, Tim.
Yeah, I haven't seen much. Okay, Johnson had a good game. Maybe this is the turnaround. I'm not going to bet I'm going to take Ole Miss to cover.
All right, we got you. All right. Let's go. Let's flip the page, and Tim's got Clemson at number 23, Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh 3 and a hook, How about that? Um, um,
Mm.
is Pittsburgh not only a field goal and a hook better? What do you think?
Now that you added the hook, I don't think so. I
All
think
right.
Clemson they'll probably lose by 3. I mean, all their games have been low scoring and close anyway. Probably the under is a better play here.
Yeah. I think Clemson wins straight up. I think Clemson wins straight up. Their defense is a top 5 in the country. Pittsburgh's not run into something like this all year long. Clemson's offense sucks, but your offense can suck when you keep the other team down the other end so far. You took Clemson as well right here, didn't you?
Yeah, with
Yeah,
the 3.5, I'll take
yeah.
Clemson. I was going to take Pitt
But
at 3.
I think Clemson wins straight up, so I'll take
Okay.
them there. Next, we got Wisconsin. 2.5 point favorites against number 25 Purdue. This is one. How about this one? Wisconsin has won against Purdue the last 14 meetings. The last 14 meetings,
Ooh.
straight up, they've won. 2.5 points here on the road to Purdue. Purdue's played their biggest game of the year. It was last week. They beat Iowa. That let down here. I think this is a 2 touchdown game. I am taking Wisconsin.
Oh, sadly, Wisconsin has not showed me a whole heck of a lot. You're right, Purdue might be a letdown game, but at home, I think the crowd will keep them in it again. So give me Purdue to win by a point, maybe even win.
Well. Oh, that's right. That's right. They're the That's
For
right.
the,
They're the dogs. That's
for
right.
the Dogs, yeah.
All right. Next one. Tennessee at number 4, Alabama. Alabama, 27.5 point favorites.
Yeah, give me Alabama by 4 touchdowns.
Yeah. Give me Alabama by 6 touchdowns and maybe a field goal and a pickle on top. Yeah, this
So
58.
the 2 point cross thing.
Yeah, Tennessee's not good. Next, we have San Diego State at Air Force. San Diego State
Yeah.
is a dog again. Air Force 3.5 point favorites. I don't care. San Diego State, all they're doing is just winning. I think they win a 10 point game here. I don't care if they're the dog or if they're not the dog. I am taking San Diego State.
I agree. I think the only reason this is a Air Force favorite is the elevation.
Yep, I got you. Next, Texas San Antonio. And a couple people said they had to look Texas San Antonio up a little bit and see what they were going to be all about. Louisiana Tech and Texas San Antonio, 6-1 record, 6.5 point favorites. So what are you liking here?
Sunbelt's getting some respect around the top 25. Give me a UTSA.
All right, touchdowns it, 31-24.
So which
But
means
that's
you're going
all.
for the push.
Well, it's not going to be a push because I'm saying 7. So I will take uh, UTSA. Next, we got Southern Cal at number 13, Notre Dame. Notre Dame's a 6.5 point favorite. Normally, 6.5 would scare me here because they normally are really both close teams. USC is still up in the air about their coach. I think right now they know who their coach is. That's personally, and we'll even talk about it maybe after we do our college picks. I think they know who their college coach is right now for next year, and they're letting this guy coach throughout the rest of this year. That's what I think anyway. I think Luke Fickell's it. So I don't think they're up in the air, up and down as much as people think. Notre Dame's a better team here. They're a touchdown better. I think maybe 9-10 points better. I like Notre Dame. What do
Well,
you
we know
think?
it's not going to be the coach that got fired from Washington State. Is not going to be the next head coach of USC.
Which one?
The one that got fired for not having the COVID test? Or the
I hadn't
vaccine?
heard about. I hadn't heard about this.
Yeah, the Washington State coach got fired for not taking the COVID test.
Oh my God.
So anyway, Notre Dame at least a 10-point victory, I believe, against USC.
I like them too. South Carolina, Shane Beamer, his first season, they're already got talks of him coming to Virginia Tech to replace their coach up here at Virginia Tech. They're in the shambles. Number 17, Texas A&M, 21.5-point favorites. Is that too much?
No, I don't think it's too much at all. 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, I'm with you. It could be more than that. I think 40 points probably more like it. South Carolina is in a bad way. A lot of blowouts this week. A lot of blowouts. It's not very many good college games. Better pro games. Number 5, Ohio State at Indiana. Indiana can play up to their competition once in a while. Ohio State, this is not going to be a trip-up game. If it is, Ohio State's the end of their season. It won't be. 18.5 won't be a problem. They'll cover by 35. I'll take Ohio State.
Exactly the margin of victory I was thinking of, 35.
All right. NC State, 3.5-point favorites, and they're going to University of Miami. This could be an interesting game right here. What are you thinking?
Well, I'm thinking I haven't heard much about who's replacing Derek King, and I don't think they really have much of an offense. So maybe NC State will win by a touchdown.
All right. You know what? This is one that scares the hell out of me because every time you think of Miami, you're thinking of good defense. You're thinking of somebody that might, they may have a couple receivers can fly, but all it takes is one good running back. I think this is the upset of the week. I think NC State gets beat right here. Miami beats them and takes care of that situation. That's our top 25. LSU coach Orgeron, quote unquote, either gets fired at the end of the year or either resigns, whichever way you want to look at it.
Right.
Who will be LSU's next coach? Who do you think?
I mean, Fickle seems to be the sexy pick, but you never know. There could be there's nobody really good in the MAC right now, so you can't choose any of them.
Right.
And then maybe you take a Sunbelt guy. Maybe is the Coastal guy in his how many years has he been there?
The Coastal coach, he's been there now 3 years, and he's already turned this team around for the last 2 years. Yeah, he's definitely one you could think about that could go to LSU. Definitely.
Right.
I think I haven't heard this name mentioned, but I think this is a guy that you could think about. Kentucky coach Mark Stoops.
Okay.
I think he could be going there because everybody on the channel has said this is one of Kentucky. This is their blowout year. You won't see another Kentucky team like this for the next 5, 6, 7 years. If you think that, you get the hell out of Dodge. On the up note, I think Mark Stoops would be a great pick for them at LSU.
Yeah, I could see that.
James Franklin's a sexy pick too, but I think James Franklin may end up going somewhere else, and I'll tell you that in a second. Fickle, I think is a USC coach. The reason I say that, why wouldn't you already have a coach in there? I mean, why wouldn't you at least have somebody there already ready to get in touch with their players and be like, okay, look, this is the way things are going to be next year. I think those kids know already. Fickle's their next coach. I think Cincinnati probably knows Fickle is not going to be there next year unless he hasn't said anything yet. But I think that's the way that's going to ride. Like I say, I think Mark Stoops ends up getting that LSU job. I think the one's got to worry is Dan Mullen down in Florida. I think Franklin could be the next Florida coach. I think that's the one that he may wait for. We'll see. But now it could go the opposite way. It could go Franklin going to LSU and Stoops going to Florida. That wouldn't surprise me either. But Mark Stoops, if he ever is going to jump from a Kentucky program that's playing way over his head to a team that should be nationally ranked consistently, why wouldn't you go to LSU or Florida if you get the chance? Agree?
Well, also depends on how much money you got to pay back in your contract.
Yeah. And the thing is, generally, the school that you go to pays a lot of that back for you too. So
Yeah,
depending on how much of a raise, I'm sure at Kentucky's probably making 2.5, 3 million, and
yeah,
probably chances are if he goes to LSU, he'll be making minimum 5.
right. Same with
So
probably more if he's LSU's coach, or maybe they throw in like bowl bonuses or
yeah.
playoff bonuses.
But generally, if they taking somebody mid contract, that's what happens. I've also heard Hugh Freeze's name. Hugh Freeze is up here in Liberty, but Hugh
Okay.
Freeze had. Do you remember what the trouble he got into with all of the hookers and stuff like that?
No.
Down, down in Auburn, he got in that trouble. That's only been
Jeez.
that's only been 3 seasons ago. Got caught in a limousine riding through Auburn, Alabama, right by the stadium. He's married. He's married too. Still is. And he's walking by. He's riding through. Has very few clothes on himself, and the women inside the car with him don't have any clothes on.
Should Urban
And
Meyer maybe contact him on how to get out of that situation?
and the way I understand it, it was an off week, and he was riding through it in the middle of a Saturday. It wasn't 2 a.m., 3 a.m. We're talking midday. So
Yeah.
yeah, he was drunk and everything else, and now he's at a Baptist college
Okay.
up here at Liberty. So he's watching his P's and Q's, but boy, oh boy, you ought to see the home that they fixed up for him. Boom. I mean, and he's making mega bucks up here already, but it's Liberty. It's not LSU. It's not
Right.
Florida. Yeah, so I would not be surprised at all if he gets the call and he would jump ship from Lynchburg down to Auburn, Alabama.
Mhm.
I mean, down to Louisiana, rather, to LSU. Thursday night. You ready for some NFL picks?
Let's go.
We got the Broncos, and they're traveling to the Browns. And the Browns are 4.5 point favorite right there. Is that too much?
I almost want to call them the Cleveland Mashes with as many people as they have hurt now. As far as I know, the two tackles are probably still going to be out. Hunt's going to be out. Don't know about Chubb. We don't know about Baker. I almost surprised they didn't go no line on this without knowing who's going to play.
Right.
But give me Denver to win, even with their kind of like Von Miller could abuse Baker and Case Keenum. I'll call it right now. Big kind of big prediction. Case Keenum will see playing time in this game on Thursday.
Okay. I got the Browns winning this game by 4 points, not 4 in the hook. I'm with you. I like the Broncos in this game. I think the Broncos show up. Being it's a Thursday night game, all of the pressure is on the Browns. They got to show up. They got to play well because that division, they're going to lose this division in the first half if they don't watch out with the way the Baltimore's playing. Yeah, so I'm with you. Sunday, Washington football team. In case you want to find out a special lock of the week, folks, this could be Tim's lock of the week. I'm not speaking for him. Packers 9.5 point favorites. Washington hadn't played within 10 points of anybody. They will not at Green Bay. I will take the Packers. Tim.
Sadly, this can't be my survivor pick because I picked Green Bay against Cincinnati. So, but yeah, give me the Packers. I'll say 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, I think it's going to be bad. Next, we got the Chiefs, 4.5 point favorites, going to Tennessee. This could be a trip-up game for either one of these teams. What do you like here?
Oh, I think that they're going to be, even on a short week, Tennessee will be inspired by how they played against Buffalo. Give me Tennessee to win this game outright.
All right. Tim likes Tennessee outright. I think the Chiefs win it. I think it's less than a field goal, though. 4.5 is outrageously high for a team that's been playing so much up and down football. I don't like the Chiefs in this game at all. I like the Titans. The Chiefs could win it. But damn, 4.5 points, you got enough room. You got wiggle room there. So I am with you. I will take the Titans in this game. We got the Falcons, 2.5 point favorites against the Dolphins. Dolphins traveling back from England. That's they didn't get land in here till Tuesday. That's the only thing I think the Falcons have going for them. 2.5 point favorites. I think I give them a field goal. Any other time, probably not. I will give the Falcons the benefit of a doubt right here. How about you?
Same thing. I still don't. Where is Miami's offense coming from?
Yeah,
Gesicki, maybe?
yeah,
The
right.
tight end?
Gotcha. Panthers, 3 point favorites against the Giants. Giants, both of these teams, you just don't know where the hell their heads are at. Who's going to win this one?
Oh, yeah, exactly. Give me the Panthers to win. I think they'll do enough
To cover
to cover
three?
three.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm with you. I actually think this could be a high scoring game. I don't think neither defense is playing as well as they would hope. Um, and I know the Panthers are hoping to get their running back McCaffrey back. They probably will. If they do, I don't think three is a big problem. 35, 31, something like that. I think it's a high scoring game, though. I'm with you. I like the Panthers. Next, we got the Jets at the Patriots. Yeah, the Jets have won a game. Yes, they have. New England last week, they pretty much let that one slip through their fingers against the Cowboys. They had it won. I'm telling you, anybody, if you didn't watch that game, you need to go back and watch it. Jones took some hits, but I tell you what, he never did lay on the field. He got up. I'm telling you, the kid is reminding me of some. It's too eerie. It's too eerie the way he's playing right now. I think the Patriots are head and shoulders better than the Jets. 6.5. I will take 6.5 blind. Give me the Patriots. Tim.
Yeah, I agree. I think Jones has matured a little bit, and he's starting to understand maybe the offense they're trying to run. Plus, the defense is looking a little bit better.
Yeah, they are. They're not a bad team. They could be a playoff team before it's over with. All right, Tim. Bengals going to Baltimore. Baltimore 6.5 point favorites. Who you liking here?
I don't think the Bengals can control Lamar Jackson and/or their plethora of running backs and Mark Andrews. Give me Baltimore big.
I'm with you. I think Baltimore by 2 touchdowns here. Cincinnati's too up and down, and their offensive line is not strong enough to hold that defense back. I think the Baltimore may even score a defensive touchdown here. I feel for Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow does not have a lot of protection, and I wish he did because I like to watch. I'd like to watch Cincinnati at least put a game up, but they're just not. Next, we got the Eagles, and they're going to Vegas to play the Raiders. And the Raiders showed up as soon as last week. They surprised all of us. Everybody had Denver, and they showed up last week. This is a week, though, I think the Eagles show up. The Eagles, they take their weeks as well sometime. This is one I think they're pretty close to even. I think their defense shows up. They're going to meet Derek Carr with something. 3 points they're going to get. I think they win outright. I like the Eagles. What about it, Tim?
I agree with you. I think the Eagles can win this game outright.
Yep. All right. Next, we got the Lions. Going to the Rams. So they're heading to the West Coast. 15.5 points. Are the Lions that bad?
Yes. Against this team, yes, they are.
What kind of score you think you're looking at here? You think it's going to be? You think
40,
Rams going?
like 42-20.
All right, I got 38-20 right here myself. 18 points. It probably won't be that close. It probably won't. I'm with you on that one. It just this is one that Rams just. It looks too sweet to be true too.
I'll call
like
Cooper Kupp 3 touchdowns.
It could happen. Texans going to the Cardinals. Biggest line of the week. 17 points right here. And you know what? I'm trying to figure out how the Texans keep it close. And there's only one way if they don't show up. That's the only damn way they can do it. And if they just don't go to the game. 44-21 or something like that. That's way over 17. I'm taking the Cardinals here. They stay undefeated. What do you think, Tim?
Yeah, I'm looking something like maybe 40-21, which means just cover, but hey, good enough.
You got it. Next, we got the Bears going to the Buccaneers. Bears got a defense, though. 13.5 point favorite Buccaneers. Can the Bears cover?
I think maybe this will be close, actually. Maybe the Buccaneers score one late to put them up by 13 and win by just barely cover.
So you think the Bucks cover this game?
Bucks cover.
Yeah, I actually think the problem with the Bears is their offense is just decimated. They really they don't know where they're going to get points from. They don't have Devin Hester like he had a few years ago that could run kicks back, stuff like that. He was
Yeah.
deadly. They don't have nothing like that anymore. They really don't. I think it's a 20-point game. I really do. But I'm with you. It wouldn't surprise me at all if it goes into the fourth quarter, a 7-point game. We know how Tom can just spread the ball out really right there at the end and just all of a sudden make it 13 and then 20. And then you're like, how in the hell did they beat them by 20 points? And you look back and you see Tom done throw 4 touchdowns and 350. So I think it can happen too. Next, we got the Colts at the 49ers. 49ers 4-point favorites. I've watched both of these two teams play, and I'll tell you what, Carson Wentz, when he's healthy, he impresses the hell out of me. And nobody, Garoppolo, Lance, none of their quarterbacks has done anything to make me think, wow. And then on top of that, the 49ers, next to the Washington football team, their defense has really surprisingly not been as great as people, as advertised. Washington's supposed to be great? No. And the 49ers are supposed to be great. They're better than Washington, but guess what? I think this is one time the Colts can march in there on a Monday night, not only take the points, I think they win outright. I think the Colts win by a touchdown here. I will. I ain't worried about the 4 right there. I think they beat the 49ers. Tim.
No, and we're also overlooking Jonathan Taylor being a heck of a running back for the Colts as well. So Wentz doesn't have to worry about throwing the ball 45 times.
Yep.
Just hand the ball off and then maybe hit the play fake, and we'll see if Hilton's healthy. But, I like the Colts in this game too.
Who do you think he win outright?
Oh, absolutely.
I like him in this game too. I really do. Yeah. So we done with our picks for the week.
No, one more.
What's that?
How about the Saints and the Seahawks?
When are they playing? Is that on Sunday?
No, that's the Monday night game. The Sunday night game is Colts and 49ers.
Oh, okay. Oh, got you then. Saints at where?
The Saints are traveling to Seattle.
Oh, Seahawks. Okay.
And the line that I have is New Orleans -5.
New Orleans -5.
Let me make sure that that's on for this week.
I did not have. Okay, I must have missed that game somewhere on my list. And then, okay, all right. Sorry, folks. Sorry about that. While I'm saying I'm sorry.
Wait a minute, hold on. Let's see here.
I thought maybe that was the next Thursday night game.
Wait a minute, let me pull this up and make sure that I must have missed something. Maybe. Nope. The Seahawks and the Saints are the Monday night game. The Colts are the Sunday night game.
All right. It comes to you.
All right. The Seahawks are in shambles right now, especially offensively. I'll give them full marks for coming back to at least force overtime Sunday night. But I think Winston's a way better quarterback right now than Roethlisberger is. Give me like 13-point win for the Saints.
In Seattle. All right. So Tim is going with the Saints right here. And I like Seattle here. I like Seattle. Their quarterback doesn't wow you, but he doesn't go out here and do stupid mistakes, run around in circles, throwing the ball up in the air, doing stuff like that. Winston, you just don't know when you're going to get a 4-touchdown game out of him, and you don't know when you're going to get a 4-interception game out of him. He is the toughest guy to predict. other than some of these Butterfinger quarterbacks that you just know they're going to fumble the football.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's one right here. I think it could be a real close game. May end up even being a push. Um, but I'm going to take a Seahawks in a tight game. They're going to get 5 points too. I like them. I think they probably win the game, but it could be a really really close game. I think it could be. Tim, I have been listening to sports radio all day today, and reporter after reporter after reporter after reporter has. I mean, most of them don't even have Cincinnati in their top 10 right now. In their top 10. Now,
Okay.
look, I'm like this about it. Show them some respect because they're undefeated. But if you're going to show them respect, show Michigan State. Show Michigan. Show Oklahoma State. People don't even mention them in the conversation with Oklahoma. And then they may end up representing the Big 12 wherever they go.
Right.
And then we got Wake Forest. Wake Forest, yeah, they don't play anybody. Yeah, they don't play anybody. They play everybody that's put in front of them, just like Coastal does. Look, I understand. Chances are a lot of their little plastic, or what do they call it? Their little frame houses are going to crumble when the big bad wolf blows in on them. We know Oklahoma State, one of them's losing. We know Michigan State, Michigan, one of them's losing. We know that. It's going to happen. Cincinnati, they still got some stumbling blocks ahead. Coastal, I even picked them to lose this week. But where, today when I listened to it, it almost turned my stomach. I said, well, I think Ohio State will be my number 3 pick, because they had this was their 4. Georgia 1, Bama 2, Ohio State 3, and Oklahoma 4. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, now look, all right, and folks, I know I'll piss a lot of people off on this channel because there's a lot of Ohio State fans on here.
And I'm one of them.
Let's tell you what they've got to do in order to be there.
Yep.
Number 1, they got to beat Penn State.
Yep.
Number 2, they got to beat Michigan State.
Absolutely.
Number 3, they got to beat Michigan. And on top of that, they've got to beat an Iowa team.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, I'm sorry. I think right now, you look at that team compared to those 4 teams, I think there's a loss in there. What do you think, Tim? Straight up.
The probability is not good.
Well, yeah.
I mean, they could run the table in the regular season, and then they might get tripped up in the title game.
Yeah.
Because plus you got 2 out of the 3 games in Columbus.
Yeah, well, it would be 2 out of 4 would be at home.
Right.
2 out of 4 would be at home. 2 would be on the road. But didn't they lose at home?
Yes, they did. The Oregon game was at home, yeah.
Yeah, they lost at home. And I look at Oregon, and I'm like, okay, if Oregon went against Michigan right now, straight up, I think Michigan would have a hell of a chance to beat them.
Yeah. Well, especially now that they don't have the star running back that torched Ohio State.
And then Iowa. Iowa's got probably the best defense in the Big Ten altogether. Look, yeah, they ran into a stumbling block against Purdue. Iowa's got to realize, though, they cannot afford. They still are in this thing, and all 4 of these teams got to realize if we don't stumble up, if we win our games and win out, we should be one of the top 4. Agreed?
You mean like one of Cincinnati?
Right, what I'm saying is one of the Big Ten teams. If all 4 of them should have in their head right now, if we win out. If we run the table and we win our Big Ten title game, we should be in that top 4. What do you think?
Yes, because especially if you had the Big Ten so strong that you had 4 teams in the top 10,
right?
And somebody runs that gauntlet, absolutely.
I agree.
And I'd say even if they won convincingly in the title game, it'd be even better.
Yeah. But I think they've got to be there. Then, okay, people are saying Alabama. There's only one way Alabama makes it in there. Alabama's got to win out, and then they've got to beat Georgia. They, I'm hearing talk that they can lose a close game to Georgia and be a two-loss team and be in it. There's no way. There's no
No.
way. You tell me if let's say Alabama loses by a last-second field goal. Georgia kicks a last-second field goal, and Alabama has two losses. Does Alabama belong in that top four?
No. You have an undefeated Georgia. You have undefeated Cincinnati. If Oklahoma goes undefeated, they deserve a spot, and so does the undefeated Big Ten team.
If there is an undefeated Big
If
Ten
there is
team.
one, yes.
Right. And all right, let's flip the script. Let's flip the script all the way. Look at Wake Forest. Let's say Wake Forest runs the table. Wake Forest has got one hell of a schedule ahead of them. They still got to play North Carolina. They still got to play North Carolina State. They still got to play Virginia Tech, and they still got to play Miami. And if they win those games, then they're going to have to play at Clemson.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? No. They're in the same division as Clemson, so they'll have to come back and play one of those teams that are called not a coastal team. It'll be whatever the mountain or whatever the eastern region or whatever, which could be at Louisville. It could be Virginia. So if let's say they win out and they go 12-0, they win out and they go 12-0. Right now, let's see where are they sitting at?
So Wake Forest is they're
7-0 right. They're 7-0 right now. Wake Forest is. Let me go get my phone and I'll tell you exactly who they're going to play.
Virginia is 3-2 in the conference right now, which is a half game better than North Carolina.
Right.
So it looks like
Carolina was ranked 7th in the country starting the season.
Yeah, which is maybe a time to say, hey, let's pump the brakes on these preseason rankings until we actually play 2 games.
And now North Carolina State's ranked in the top 20, right?
Yeah.
No, they're 19th. Yeah, they're 19th. But Wake Forest is 16th. They're number 16 in the country. Let me go grab my phone real quick.
While Rob grabs his phone, I'll go look at the ACC standings here.
All right, let's see. Let's both look at the Wake Forest football remaining schedule. All right, so let's look. All right, first off, we got Army this week on the road. Then they got Duke. That's not going to do anything for them. You got Carolina. They got NC State, and then they go to Clemson, and then Boston College. Now, let's see who in the world they could play. They could play Pittsburgh.
Yep.
And they could play Virginia or North Carolina. Now, Pittsburgh, are they on their schedule already? No, they're not.
No.
So, let's say they run the table. Let's say they beat Army. They beat Duke. They beat Carolina. They beat NC State. They beat Clemson. Now that right there, I think that's going to wake people up.
Yeah.
If they march into because they go into Clemson.
Yeah.
They go into Clemson. Let's say they go in there and lay the hammer down. They beat them by 30. I mean, they just go in. Let's say they go in there and throttle them. But let's say they go in. Let's say they go in there and throttle them. This team is but you got to look at who they've played so far. I mean, they only beat
Syracuse by
a field goal.
And Louisville by a field goal.
Right, at home. That was at home. That doesn't help them. They went to UVA and won by 20. They played Florida State. Florida State's not the Florida State we know. 21 points.
No.
Norfolk State, Old Dominion, and Campbell. Yeah. So, no. Old Dominion was their first team. Yeah.
Right.
So they've not played anybody. That number one. That's going to hurt them. But let's say they win the rest of their games by 10 points. Let's go more realistic.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say they beat Army, Duke, Carolina, NC State, Clemson, and Boston College. That's what, 6 more games.
Yep.
They won't be 16th.
No.
By the time it gets fourth or fifth in there, they're going to be up to 7th or 8th.
Right. That's exactly where I would have thought.
Because Michigan State's going to have already played each other.
And then Michigan.
That's going to take care of one of those two teams. Now, the problem they're going to have is a team like Ohio State if they don't trip up.
Right.
Before their title game. All I can say is if they win out, they should not have to worry about a one-loss Big Ten team that did not win the Big Ten title game. Agreed?
Agreed.
Yes. Now, they're hoping – they got to hope for a lot. Number one, they got to hope Michigan – one of them's going to lose. But otherwise, they got to hope Ohio State trips over themselves. They got to hope Ohio State trips. Mm-hmm. And then if they do, then with 2 losses, whoever plays Iowa in the Big Ten championship, you got to hope they win with a loss or 2 losses already and be behind. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Already be behind Wake, where they shouldn't be able to pass them if Wake plays a Boston College or whoever they play in Pittsburgh in the championship game. I understand Wake Forest is not playing the best schedule. Neither is Coastal. Neither is Cincinnati. Let's look. I mean, if you really want to look at it, look who Cincinnati's played all year long. Yeah, they beat Notre Dame, but
and the Indiana game was supposed to be like the high profile, and it's not turned out to be.
Yeah. So, that's a team that could turn this whole bowl thing up like a salad. We could flip everything over. We go to the Big 12. Oklahoma State. Chances are one of them coming out of this thing undefeated. But let's say Oklahoma beats Oklahoma State. Then they play Texas in the championship game, and Texas wins that game. Does this Oklahoma team deserve to be in the Final Four rankings with a 1 loss in a Big 12 championship game over a team, Wake Forest, Cincinnati? What do you think? Do they belong ahead of Wake Forest if Wake Forest runs the table and wins their ACC championship?
I mean, I would say yes, but I'm not a voter, and sadly the voters will probably have some bias. Oh, who did Wake Forest play, or all this.
So you would say, if it was just you would say...
Yes, Wake Forest would. I would say if they go undefeated with kind of that, Cinderella type team.
Right.
That's a road to hoe for those remaining.
Exactly. That 6 games, nobody can expect them to win all 6 of these games.
No.
And I'm sure somewhere along the way, I'm sure when they play Clemson, they're not going to be favored to win. They probably won't be. But if they go in there and march their asses in there and win, you cannot penalize these kids for being playing down here in Wake Forest, down in North Carolina. You can't penalize them for it. And they're given the schedule they're given. If the Big 12 has all 1-loss teams, I'm with you. Yeah. That conference has to get pushed out of the way. Now, are we even thinking about the Pac-12? Is anybody in the Pac-12 right now even being considered if they win out? And I'm with you. I don't think so either, because all they do is take turns punching each other in the eye, and then the next team steps on top of somebody else and gets punched in the eye. Yeah, I'm with you.
Keith said he's probably going to be home in about 10 minutes.
Who's that?
Keith White.
Says he's going to be home in about 10? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, okay. You stay in touch with him too?
No, he just put in the chat.
Okay. I'll probably be home in about 7 minutes. Oh, seven. Yeah, I got you. Um, if he could be on now, hell, you know what? I'll send him a invite anyway. And if
Mm-hmm.
he wants to come join up with us, we can at least get his picks for the week. That'd be cool.
That'd
I
be
didn't
cool.
send him an invite. I sent a bunch of other people invites, but yeah, I did not send him one. Here we go. Got it. If he's in his car, he can come right on.
Yep.
Yeah. Um, New comment on One Bite Pizza. Oh, I gotta look at this.
Oh boy, are you still getting roasted on
Oh no
that?
no no, Don Heston.
Oh,
Don Heston sent me something. It's equals shit. Yeah, Don
what?
tried it. Don tried it. He says it's shit. It's shit, man. I
My
see
problem
today.
is
I tried it live on the channel today.
yeah,
I
I
tried.
saw.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm just like, it has no sauce, man. I know a lot of people like more cheese and sauce, but when you have zero sauce, it doesn't take much cheese to be more cheese than zero. Yeah, it's crazy. Let me get me a sip of my soda here. Yeah, but I think I still think there's a lot of teams that have a chance of getting in there that are sitting right now 12th, 13th, 14th. That all they do it, all they can do is bide their time because number one, there's no way in hell Iowa, Penn State, and Ohio State should be ranked ahead of Michigan State and Michigan. Agree or disagree?
Ugh. I mean, okay, for normal jabronis like us,
Yep.
yes, but it's the whole thing of whose strength of schedule. They take all that into effect. It was an early season loss. They built back up, but God forbid we go by actual records.
Right. Right. That one right there means as much. Is the one up on the side of your board, whether you lost yesterday or lost a month ago. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, go back and watch it 3 or 4 times. It, it still happened. You
Yep.
ain't gonna get that out of. Trust me, you don't get that out of your memory. You know you lost, and you know as much as I know as much as Alabama wants to be there. Now, the good thing for Alabama is if they win out, they should be in the SEC championship game,
Mm-hmm.
and they were ranked high enough that if they beat Georgia,
Yep.
that's not beating Louisville.
Right.
That's not beating Syracuse. And hell, I'm sorry, that's not even beating Ohio State.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody right now wanting to go in down to Georgia and play them right now, I can't think of any team in the country right now that would be favored over Georgia. Can you?
No, in fact, there almost be the fiddles playing for the devil went down to Georgia.
Yeah, yeah. So if Alabama marches their ass into the Georgia Dome and they beat them, I don't care if it's a last second field goal. I don't care if it's a last second run back of a
Right.
touchdown. You've played 60 minutes and they didn't beat the hell out of you. That you've got to give them credit for that. Now, having said that, they cannot. I don't think they can be a fourth team if we've got six undefeated teams. I'm
Right.
sorry. I'm sorry. And, or if they beat Georgia in a championship game, Georgia may get knocked out. I mean, Georgia's got to show up now. Georgia cannot play on their laurels and be like, well, we're number one. We can't be knocked out of there. It can happen to you, damn it. It can happen to you.
Yep. Especially if Alabama somehow beats the tar out of Georgia.
Right. Beats them by more than 10 points. Then,
I'd say more than 14 points.
yeah, but even if they beat them by 10 in the dome, Georgia's got to be wondering, like, oh, shit. Is Cincinnati going to be undefeated? Is the SEC? I mean, is the Big 12 team going to be undefeated? Is the Big
Well,
10 team?
usually all the other conference championships are played either like Friday after Thanksgiving. Actually, no, it'd probably be the week after this year.
Yeah.
Usually it's, like Friday, Saturday, early Saturday, and then it's the
Saturday night game is generally the SEC championship game.
Have they switched the Big Ten championship to noon again this year? Do you know?
I want to say 3:30. I
Okay.
want to say it's going to be 3:30 on Saturday. I think the ACC championship game this year is put at the noon slot because they don't have anybody right now currently in the top 10 in the country. I think that's what happened. I think ABC and ESPN work in coherence about that. I think the ACC is going to end up getting pushed to noon.
Well, I'm reading on the Big Ten championship website. They're saying it's 8 p.m. again. Although that's probably subject to change.
Is it Friday night or Saturday?
It will be. Well, if Christmas is on a Saturday, then yep, it'll be Saturday. December 4th.
December 4th. All right. All right.
Yeah. Well, that's something we can look forward to, like closer to like Thanksgiving.
Right. Well, even after Halloween. That's just a couple weeks away, and it's still shit's going to change between now and then. I guarantee you, right now, let's see. We got Coastal, we got Wake, we got both Michigan teams, we got 2 Oklahoma teams, we got a Georgia team. Have I mentioned Cincinnati?
Nope.
All right, Cincinnati. Who else? Is anybody else undefeated?
Let me look at the rankings right now.
I don't think so. Coastal and Cincinnati, both Oklahoma teams, both Michigan teams, Georgia.
Okay, so the top 3 are undefeated. So you got Georgia, Cincinnati, and Oklahoma.
Right.
You got Michigan at number 6.
Right.
You got OK State at number 8.
Right.
And you got Michigan State you got Michigan State at number 9, and then Coastal at 14, and Wake at 16.
So it's 8 teams left.
Well, actually, and then we have you got the bottom feeders like SMU.
Is SMU undefeated?
Yes.
But they're not in a Power 5 conference though. And
right.
You're right. They're not going to be considered. And
no.
Who else? And San Diego State, are they undefeated?
They are undefeated, as is
yeah.
They said that UTSA was, but I don't think they are.
No, they're 6-1. They're 6-1 now. They lost one. So, yeah, I'm not so worried about. Do you agree with me? SMU, if they win out, I still don't think they're a power a number 4, top 4. Do you?
They're not even. I don't think they'll even get high enough to get the New Year's exemption.
Right. I don't think they'll be in the top 10. Right.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm with you. I don't think they deserve to be. Here comes Keith now. All right. There we go. Keith.
Good evening, Keith.
What's going on, my friend?
Hey. Finally got home.
We were just talking in real deep thought about the 8 teams that are left undefeated in college football.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We know already one of the Michigan teams are going to get beat. We know one of the Oklahoma teams are going to get beat.
From head to head, yeah.
Glenn Bonesteel even puts up here, even if Coastal is the only undefeated team left, they won't put them in the top 4. I agree.
Right.
I agree with him. Cincinnati, Cincinnati is there. Cincinnati, if Cincinnati wins out, I think they are a dangerous team. Wake Forest.
I'll be back.
Wake Forest would have to win 6 games, Keith, and one of them would have to be going to Clemson to win.
Yeah.
And Clemson is not as good as we thought they were, but they were preseason top 5. Um, North Carolina, preseason top 10. North Carolina State, right now, 13th in the country.
Mm-hmm.
And Wake Forest, not necessarily. They're definitely not in a power conference, but they're in the ACC.
Yeah.
We're wondering. Let's say they win out. Let's say both of the Michigan teams lose. Let's say by some crazy way Ohio State loses the second game, and Iowa loses the second game. So nobody in the Big Ten has less than one win, has less than 2 losses. Let's say Oklahoma and Oklahoma State both lose a game. Is there any way? That Wake Forest makes it into that top 4? Now, don't forget, they're number 16 in the country right now.
Yeah.
And they got six more games before their ACC championship. So a lot of jumping can go on. Do you think there's any opportunity for them to get a top 4?
Realistically, I don't.
You don't think so?
No.
Okay.
I mean, they might get a nice bowl game invite, but they're not going to get into the playoffs.
Okay.
I don't think that there's enough competition in their conference this year that they could use to justify it. And then there's just such strong interest to get other programs in there. And, I mean, being undefeated, I don't think is like the automatic thing to get you there by any means.
Can I interrupt for a second? Glenn has a nice little comment. He goes, that's why we need 16-team playoffs, all 10 conference championships plus 6 at-large bids, and let every Division I team have a shot from the start of the season. The only problem with that, Glenn, is that you're going to have to cut at least one game off the schedule in order to fit everything in, because you're talking about having to play almost the entire month of December before you get to maybe January, playing in 2 weeks. And then you got to worry about scheduling like basketball.
Do you think that there should be some requirement as far as scheduling goes that the schools from some of these conferences have to play at least a team from the Big Ten or the SEC or, Big 12 or something, at least a couple of games every season that they have to play? I know you're talking about the money in it, but I mean, they should have to beat somebody that is going to be ranked in the top 10 during the course of the season to be able to.
Which is why that Coastal BYU game was great.
That's the problem, though. You don't know who's going to be in the top 10.
Well, what I mean, that's the thing, absolutely are, but it's just that you got these conferences where that's usually where these top 10 teams come from. When you can look at it right now, and obviously it's the Big Ten and the SEC right now where those, and they got Oklahoma, who is often in there from the Big 12. Clemson usually is from the ACC, but there's no clear team out of that conference every year to get there. So if you're not playing a couple of conference opponents, and I mean good conference opponents from Pac-12 and the Big 10 and the Big 12 and the SEC and maybe the ACC. Like what conference is Coastal Carolina in? Should the winner of that conference just automatically get a bid in a playoffs?
No. And they're not a Power 5
unbeaten conference. Or not.
Right, exactly.
Because they don't play any of the big boys.
Let me ask you guys a question and see if you agree with me or not. AAC. And let's look at all the independents. They're the ones who can really just decide where they want to play. BYU, Notre Dame, all these independent teams right now, having no conference affiliations at all. I think the only way a team like that, Notre Dame, any of them, should have any even to even be looked at as a top 10 team, they should have to play 8 power conference games. That's not too much to ask. That would be 2 against the Big Ten, 2 against the ACC, 2 against the SEC, one against Big 12 and one against the SEC, and then they can still set their 3-4 cupcakes up. But what is that asking too much for every team that is that has no conference affiliation to have to play 8 power conference games? Tim, is that too much to ask?
I'm actually going to look up Notre Dame's schedule again.
Notre Dame's schedule's pretty. I mean, look, they play Navy. They play. Let's see, Purdue. Normally they play Purdue. I don't know if they're playing them this year.
They did already. They beat them in week 3. So they had Florida State ACC.
Right.
They scheduled their Cupcake Mexico, which they only won by 3 points.
Last year they played Clemson, right, in the regular season.
They got USC this
Stanford.
week. They got USC this week, but then check out the rest of their schedule after this one. Tell us, Tim. Tell us who Notre Dame's got the rest of the way when all these other teams are playing their power best. This is what Notre Dame's got.
They get after this week. They get North Carolina next week. Then the wonderful 1-5 Navy. The 5-2 at Virginia. Then they host Georgia Tech, which is a usual kind of game for them, I think. Right. And then the final game is against Stanford. So unfortunately, they picked a bad year to play the Pac-12.
Right, and you can't really hurt them on that deal. So let's see. They've got USC, Carolina, Georgia Tech, Virginia, Florida State.
No.
And So how many Power 5 teams are they playing? 6?
Florida State, Purdue, Wisconsin, Cincinnati, Virginia Tech, USC.
Cincinnati is not a Power 5.
Oh, Cincinnati's not a Power 5. Okay, so Virginia Tech is. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, so let's start from Florida State, yes. Purdue, right. Yes. Wisconsin, yes. Mm-hmm. Virginia Tech, yes. Mm-hmm. USC, yes.
Oh, yeah.
North Carolina, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Navy is not. Virginia is.
Right.
Georgia Tech is, and so is Stanford.
Yeah, they play enough good games. You see, why don't all these teams, BYU, any of these other independents, play the kind of schedule like that? See, the affiliation with Notre Dame is in the basketball situation. And in fact, I think they even have ACC written on their uniforms, even though they are considered
football.
In football they are considered independent. So I don't have a problem with Notre Dame's schedule this year. You can't make USC good every year. You can't make Clemson a national power every year. You can't make, Florida State. Good Lord, man! Look at Florida State in the '80s and '90s. Nobody wanted to play them.
How many major conference schools does Appalachian State play in a year? Is it more than one, or is?
Not normally. They don't play any hardly. Appalachian State.
But they have played like Michigan. I think they did play somebody this year. Was it Miami that they played this year?
It might have been. They're playing this year. They got who was that? They got this week coming up. Appy State has got.
They got Coastal this week.
Oh, that's right. They got Coastal Carolina tomorrow night. But they're the team that beat Michigan in 05, 06, something like that.
07.
Was it 07? Yeah. They went there to Michigan and beat their asses.
The big house.
Oh, with a very good team that probably could beat a few other Division I teams.
Yeah, but there's no way in hell they should have went there and beat them. Michigan plays way down to their standards a lot. So Keith, have you got your picks together?
No, if you.
I can throw some names and numbers out there to you. You tell us what you think.
Well, if you want to do that offline, we can do that. Or if you want,
okay,
I don't know what you. Well, I don't know what you want to do. I don't want to have Tim and other people bored here while I'm making.
No. We were actually waiting. We were hoping that you were going to be able to join us when we were doing our picks a little while ago. So I didn't know if you'd already made your picks in private already or not.
I haven't.
Okay.
But I never do. I never do until we come on here.
Okay. Well, hey, let's go with Keith White's picks then, guys. Let's run down the list here. We'll let you know what we did after you take your picks.
I'm going to trust you to write mine down because I'm not doing it right now.
I'm writing it down. Number 4. Tim.
No, I'm just going to skip out just so that you guys can, do your picks.
No.
Hang in there with us, man.
I'll be here in voice, but I won't. I'll just kind of skip out.
If you got something you want to bring up, jot it down, or don't be like me and forget it within 10 seconds.
All right.
We split on this one. I'm not going to tell you which way went which way. Coastal Carolina is going to Appalachian State tomorrow night. Coastal Carolina 3.5-point favorites. Keith.
I'll give Coastal Carolina the benefit of the doubt on that one.
All right, then we go to Thursday night game. Tulane. They're going to SMU. SMU, a 14-point favorite here. SMU.
I'll take Tulane with the points on that one.
All right. Gotcha. Now we're going Saturday. Cincinnati, 27.5-point favorites. They're going to Navy to play.
Yeah, I'll give the points on that one.
You'll take Cincinnati. All right. Number 3, Oklahoma, 38.5-point favorites, going to Kansas. Kansas is hoping the Wizard shows up.
I mean, I think Oklahoma will win comfortably, but I have a feeling Oklahoma's defense, I don't trust them enough to limit Kansas to enough points to give that many points away. So I'm going to take Kansas with the 38.5 or whatever you said it was.
38.5. Illinois heading to number 6, Penn State. Penn State 23.5-point favorites.
Illinois played more competitively this year than I thought they would.
Now this is at Penn State.
I'm going to go ahead and take Illinois with the points. I'd probably get that one wrong, but I'm going to go that way.
Northwestern going to Michigan, undefeated number 17 Michigan. Number 7 Michigan, 21.5-point favorites. It's a lot. It's a lot of big lines this week. Yeah. It's not very many close games. Northwestern heading to the big house. Michigan 21 and a hook.
Yeah, that's probably about what that'll be too, as far as the spread. So I'll give the points since Michigan is still unbeaten, has a chance at a playoff invite.
Yeah. Wake Forest 3.5-point favorites. They're undefeated. Number 16. They're going to Army. Wake Forest,
I'll give the 3.5.
All right. We did that too. Oklahoma State, undefeated, number 8 in the country, going to Iowa State, going to Ames. Iowa State's a 6.5-point favorite.
That one surprises me a bit. I think I'll take Oklahoma State with those points.
Yeah. Ames is a tough place to play.
It is, but I don't know. But Oklahoma State's starting to make me believe in them a little bit here.
Right, and when you're undefeated, nobody's game. That's the team that's getting no respect right now. We're with you here. We think I actually think Oklahoma State wins this one outright. Oregon, number 10 in the country, going to UCLA. UCLA is a 1.5 favorite against Oregon.
That's the toughest one so far for me. Goodness. I'm gonna take UCLA. I mean, normally I would take Oregon, but that's just one I just have a feeling I'm underestimating UCLA a little bit there.
They're at home too, yeah. So
yeah.
Yeah. LSU, me and you should be pissed about this team.
Oh yeah, because they finally put it together when.
Oh my gosh,
I picked against them.
They're going to Ole Miss this week. Ole Miss, number 12 in the country, 10.5-point favorites against LSU.
That's a lot. I'm going to go ahead and take Ole Miss and hope I'm wrong.
Well, one of us is going to laugh about it because I'm actually going back with LSU this week.
Okay.
Like 10.5 scared.
I want to, but it's
10.5 scared.
I just don't trust. I mean, Johnson played better this week, but now he's going to go on the road again and
play like a dog
against a team that's got some confidence. I think, even though they've lost a game against Bama a couple weeks ago.
Not number anything. Clemson at number 23 Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh 3.5-point favorites against Clemson.
I'll take Pittsburgh there.
All right. We both went Clemson there.
Okay.
Wisconsin 2.5-point favorites against Purdue, the team that just beat Iowa. Last week. Is Purdue going to be on the up and the down? Wisconsin's a 2.5-point favorite going to Purdue. What do you think?
That was a big win for Purdue. I'll go ahead with Purdue since they're home, and the fact that Wisconsin just hasn't been typical Wisconsin this year.
All right.
Usually they're better.
Yep. Tennessee at number 4 Alabama. Alabama giving up 27.5. Hello, Erica.
I'll take Alabama on that one.
All right. Erica is asking for our best NFL picks. We're going to have Keith's NFL picks coming up for you in just a minute. San Diego State at Air Force. Air Force 3.5-point favorites.
Air Force is favored?
Air Force is favored at home against undefeated San Diego State. They have not lost yet.
Yeah, I hadn't really followed Air Force at all this year. I'll go with San Diego State.
We're with you there. We couldn't believe that line. UTSA, Texas San Antonio. They're a 6-1 team. They're 24th in the country. They're 6.5-point favorites going to Louisiana Tech. UTSA.
I'll go with Tech on that one.
Okay, go with Louisiana Tech. I gotcha. Mm-hmm. USC traveling to Notre Dame, traveling to South Bend. Notre Dame is 6.5-point favorites. They didn't feel confident enough to give them 7. 6.5, 6 and a hook, or is it too little? What do you think?
Too little. I'll go with Notre Dame.
We like Notre Dame too. I think they're more than a touchdown favorite there. South Carolina. The Rugs of the SEC this year. They're going to 17 Texas A&M, and A&M's a 21 and a hook, 21.5-point favorites. But South Carolina.
Yeah, I kind of have a feeling Texas A&M might win that one by about 40.
That's what I got them 51-10. I'm with you there.
Yeah.
I don't like South Carolina at all in this game. Number 5, Ohio State. They can't lose and make it playoffs. If they lose, they're out. Going to Indiana, Ohio State 18.5-point favorites.
I think Ohio State will probably win by about 16, so I'm going to take Indiana with a point.
Oh, okay. He's taking Indiana at home. And then finally, we got NC State, number 19 in the country, 3.5-point favorites, going to the Hurricanes of Miami. What do you think?
Who's going to Miami? I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
North Carolina State to Wolfpack.
Oh, okay.
And Wolfpack are 3.5-point favorites going down to Miami.
Well, they've been pretty good. Miami, not so much. Man, it's just hard for me to pick NC State going down there, though.
And Miami gets 3.5 points.
Yeah, that's why I'm leaning Miami right now. I'll go with Miami.
I went that way too. All right, Erica, what are you guys record looking for a good capper? Well, our record from last week, I'll give you our records from
Wasn't
last
me.
week. No, it wasn't Keith last week.
No.
The
No.
man
I was better
in
in
the
week
middle. Ooh, the man in the middle. He was 10-4. Tim right there.
Except my lock pick didn't quite work.
No, his lock pick didn't work, but he went 10-4 pro. I went 9-5, and Keith went 5-9. Keith didn't have a lot of luck there.
No,
I'll let you guys run through the picks, and then I'll go with my Survivor. And I'll
gotcha.
tell you right now, the Survivor and the lock will be the same this week.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
All right, so go ahead. I'll kind of put myself back on.
So Erica, keep an eye out for us right here. Thursday night game, Keith. Broncos heading to the Browns. Browns are a 4.5-point favorite.
The Browns, you would think, would bounce back. The Broncos still they got a decent defense. I was never that excited about Bridgewater as a quarterback, though. I'm going to go with the Browns on that one.
All right. Sunday. Hard for me to even say this one. Washington football team going to Green Bay. Green Bay's a 9.5-point favorite.
That's all, huh?
That's all.
Yeah, I mean,
look for a 1 in front of the 9 and be 19. Then it might be.
Yeah, I'll go Green Bay.
Yeah.
I wonder if I'll have to go back and look, see if the 0-16 Browns or the 0-16 Lions were ever 19-point underdogs.
Chiefs, 4.5-point favorites, going to Tennessee. Tennessee pulls off a big win last night. They're 4.5-point favorites going to Tennessee. What do you think?
I'll go with Tennessee there.
Yeah, we both did. In fact, we both said
the Chiefs haven't looked that good for a while now.
No, we both said they could win this game.
I mean, the Chiefs didn't look good last week, and they won easy, but that was
right against Washington.
Yeah,
but they tripped over themselves a lot too. Yeah, they left them in the game a lot. Falcons, 2.5-point favorites, playing the Dolphins. Dolphins flying back in from London. Dolphins.
Falcons are favored by 2 now.
No, Falcons favored by 2.5, going to Miami.
Going to Miami. I like the Falcons there.
We both did. We were like, yeah, we were surprised.
Yeah, I don't believe in the Dolphins, really, to tell you the truth. I just don't see anything there that's building any. It's kind of like, they had Tua, and I don't see where he's really getting any better. And
I think he's diminished somewhat.
Maybe.
I don't think he's showed a lot for us. Panthers, 3-point favorite, going to the New York Giants.
Again, that's all. I mean,
3 points is all they got to give.
Panthers.
We both like them too. Yeah, the Giants to me are a team that if they don't play perfectly, just like Washington, if they don't play a perfect game, they're not going to win. They're just not going to win.
Dallas has no excuse for not winning that division this year.
Yeah, you're right. Dallas should win 13, 14 games.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they should win 5 division games.
At least.
Out of 6. You don't play but 6. You should win 5 of those 6, and then you should win 5 or 6 other games. They should go 11 and 12 and 12 and 5 anyway. They should, but I'm not sure they will. Jets, they're coming back from overseas. Going to New England to play the Patriots. Patriots giving up 6.5 is all.
I just have a feeling that's going to be a really close game. I think the Patriots are going to win, but I'm going to take the Jets for the points. That might be the last time I do it.
All right. Well, we both like the Patriots by 2 touchdowns in that game. Bengals going to Baltimore. Baltimore, 6.5-point favorites against Cincinnati.
I still have a feeling that the Ravens, at least by some people, are a little bit overrated. they're kind of a team, I think, that's a strong wild card, but I don't think they're one of the premier teams. Having said that, the Bengals probably still have a few growing pains to go through here. So I'll take the Ravens to just barely go over that 6.5.
All right. Eagles going to Las Vegas to play the Raiders. Raiders, 3-point favorites.
I'll take the Raiders and give the 3.
Oh, okay. You're the only one that did that. We both liked the Eagles in that game. Lions, can they finally win a game? Well, they don't have to win. All they have to do is stay within 13.5 of the Rams in L.A.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man. Stafford against his old team.
Yeah. Golf.
He's probably going to be pumped up. I'll go with the Rams there.
No, I'm sorry. 15.5, not 13.5. 15.5. You still like the Rams?
Not as much, obviously, but yeah. Yeah.
Sorry.
That does make it tougher there, though. It's over 2 touchdowns.
Well, you get this one right here's 2 touchdowns and a field goal. How about this
Oh,
one?
goodness.
Texans going to the undefeated Cardinals. And the Cardinals are 17-point favorites.
Over the Texans. And who's playing quarterback for the Texans now?
I think they went through a couple already. So, and that is their problem. And they're, a couple of their receivers. And don't forget, J.J. Watt, that used to play for Houston, plays for the Cardinals now.
Yeah.
They traded a lot away.
Don't forget about DeAndre Hopkins.
DeAndre Hopkins.
Former Texan.
Used to play for the Texans, plays for the Cardinals now. Cardinals are stacking up. They really are. You say you like the Texans here?
No. I don't know where you heard that.
I gotcha. Bears going to the Buccaneers. Buccaneers, 13.5-point favorites against the Bears.
Oh, after this game, this might be another one where Nagy's got a foot out the door. I'm going to take the Bucs and give the points.
Yep. We did it and didn't hurt us a bit. Colts going to San Francisco to play the 49ers. 49ers, 4-point favorites. 49ers -4 against the Colts.
Yeah, it's interesting to see what the 49ers are doing at quarterback. Is Garoppolo back? Because I think Nance did start a game not too long ago, a week or two ago.
Yeah. What is his name? What is the kid's name?
Trey Lance.
Lance.
Yeah.
Lance. I don't know where they're standing with their quarterback this week. Weren't they off last week?
No, I think this is the first week of the bye weeks.
Last week was the first week.
Yeah, the Saints were off last week.
Okay.
Yeah. 49ers. I want to say the Niners were off last week. I'll tell you in a second.
I think so. I don't think they played.
Yeah, Niners didn't play last week. I'm pretty sure. Jets was off last week. Let's see.
Jets played in London.
Yeah.
Didn't they? No, that was the Jaguars. I'm sorry, Dolphins and Jaguars.
Jets was off last week.
Yeah.
Jags off this week, I think. I think the Jags got this week off. Yeah. They didn't play last week. So the Niners were off last week. So they get to kind of heal their wounds a little bit. They're 4-point favorites, though, against the Colts.
I'm going to surprise you here. I'm going to go with the Colts on this one.
You're not surprising anybody. We both went with the Colts. We were like, the 49ers defense has not impressed us at all this year.
I thought for sure you would have taken the 49ers route.
But the 49ers defense has not impressed me at all. They've played down to their competition, and then if Lance is playing, that just gives me more.
Well, the Colts can run the ball too, and Wentz is experienced, even if he's not real good. He's experienced.
Yeah, he can keep the ball away from the other team.
Mm-hmm.
Monday night, Saints, New Orleans Saints -5 going to Seattle. They're a 5-point favorite going to Seattle. Wilson's out.
Yeah. It's still a tough place to play. But Seattle has no defense, and Kamara should have a big game there. So I'll go ahead and as long as Winston doesn't throw more than 2 interceptions, I'll go with the Saints.
All right. I actually took Seahawks in this game.
I could see that happening because that's a tough place to play.
Yeah. That was one of the tougher ones. Erica, who is your team? You was asking who you're looking for a good capper. Who is a team that you like? Okay? Because me, Tim, and Keith, we have one that we kind of pull a backing on because me and Keith like the team, but they play like shit every week, so we end up going against them every week. Who do you like?
Well, that's not why I go against Washington. I go against Washington because they're real bad.
Yeah, they're suck bad, but am I watching NBA tonight? I guess not.
It looks like the Dodgers are in real trouble right now. The Braves have 2 guys on in the top of the 8th, and they're up 5-2.
And Boston plays tonight, right?
Boston has really outplayed the Astros.
Yeah, Boston's outplayed the Astros. They scored 12 last night. 3.
Even that first game, they had a lead, and then they let it get away. But
right,
Boston's up 2-1 already.
Boston's up 2-1. Boston's got 3 grand slams too.
Yeah, it's looking like Boston versus Atlanta right now. It'd be a surprise to see it any other way.
Yeah.
To be fair, Atlanta was up 3-1 against the Dodgers last year and blew it.
They did. But we'll see what happens. Numbers, you watching NBA tonight. Erica, you still here? If you're still here, we'll tell you what we think.
Who did Dodgers have for starting pitchers last year, Tim?
It was about Kershaw played the whole series. Bueller was there.
Urias.
Urias was almost could have been the MVP, to be honest with you.
He was the best one. See, what's hurting them now, we're just finding out.
Honestly, I didn't pay any attention to baseball at all last year.
Scherzer's got dead arm. He's just coming out and saying it now. That right there, that is a blow to them big time. Even if they go to the World Series, I like the American League team.
Because he's probably going to win the Cy Young.
Yeah, if he doesn't, Urias will, because he went 20-3.
Mm-hmm.
He went 20-3. I mean, he pitches.
And early on in the season wasn't. Well, I don't know when he started playing, but Bauer was really, really good at the start of the season, and then start of his season.
Yeah, he didn't pitch a lot of games, but he pitched pretty well. Guys, I mean,
numbers.
Are we going wrong to keep telling the people go against Washington right now? The way Washington is just playing down to their competition. Heineke's playing decent. The defense is playing better, but they're finding the ways just to lose by 20 points. Keith, are we wrong to tell the people go? Whoever's playing Washington.
Well, I'm not telling people to do anything, but I
mean, people in here even asking us which way they want to go as far as betting and all. Are we leading them the wrong way? Do you think if we tell them go against Washington and go give 4.5 points to the Chiefs? I mean, not the Chiefs. I'm sorry. Give 9.5 to the Packers. Do you think that's too much?
No.
How about you, Tim?
No, not at all.
Now, folks, if you're going to bet your money, bet smart and try to read up as much as you can. But man, oh man, Washington to me is they're flatlining right now. They are looking.
I mean, you never know when Rodgers could get hurt or something. That's the only thing that happens with football.
But I'm like this about it.
Had collarbone issues and.
But that's a team though. Even if he gets hurt,
Love might go out there and light him up.
I still think they're the better team.
Yeah, it's almost like them and Houston and Detroit right now. It'd be like if one of them would pull an upset, Vegas could just rake it in.
Yeah. Keith White is picking Baltimore.
I did, but not by a lot. I just thought they'd barely cover that.
Numbers. We all went with Baltimore this week. We all went with Baltimore this week.
I'll call it right now.
6.5 point favorites.
Survivor and lock of the week is going to be the Ravens covering what, 6.5?
It is.
Yep. Give me both of them for lock and Survivor pick of the week.
All right. Who's your lock of the week, Keith?
I couldn't tell you, Rob.
I'm taking the Packers. I look at 9.5 right now.
I don't think I'd take that as a lock, but
I don't like Washington. They're going to Green Bay. I don't like nothing about this. Lamar Jackson, is he the best quarterback in the league? Not by far numbers.
No,
he's not a top 5. To me, all right, if you want me to give 5, I'll give you 5 right now playing better than him. Number 12 in Tampa. Number 12 in Green Bay.
Herbert.
Herbert. Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
And I would still take Mahomes over him, too.
Mahomes?
Oh, yeah.
How about the kid with the Cardinals?
Yeah, right now Kyler Murray is not turning the ball over like Jackson is.
That's 6 right now, and I'll still take a kid from Buffalo. I don't care if they did lose.
You know what? This might be controversial, but I might take Stafford over Lamar Jackson.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Yeah,
no.
Stafford's played well. You're right. He's played really well. Yeah, he's not played bad at all. I am not taking Herbert or Rodgers over him. Yeah. The problem with Lamar Jackson, he's too one-dimensional, bud. He's not gonna look. Can he beat the Steelers?
And you said Allen. Yeah. You said Allen, Rob.
Yeah, Josh Allen of Buffalo. Lamar Jackson can beat Pittsburgh on a specified week. He can beat the Browns on a specified week. He can beat the Bengals on a specified week. When it gets to playoff time, these teams have had a little bit of rest, and they're going to go travel, and they're going to go to San Diego. They're going to Vegas, going to wherever the hell they got to go to then. Buffalo, Kansas City. Jackson has more offensive yards than like 15 NFL teams. Yeah,
right, but what happens to the running quarterbacks by week 17?
Exactly.
All these hits, and then they're not fresh.
Ankles, arms, something's hurt. You're right. Exactly, Tim. You cannot go with a guy that purely runs. Dak runs once in a while. He runs for his life more than anything. But he's not out here looking to run the ball down the field.
Like inside the 5-yard line, I'm okay with once in a while. Or if it's like short yardage and you're a 6'4" quarterback, you should be able to just reach the ball over the goal line and just score.
But 18 to 22 rushes a week, you cannot do that.
No.
And you cannot be I don't care if you are 6'4". Yeah. Yeah, I'm surprised with the Cardinals so far too. I'm with you. But he's one hit. He's only one hit away from being out of the year, so he's got to watch what he's doing.
How do we what would be the best way to describe to somebody Darnold this year?
Who's Sam Darnold?
Panthers? Yeah,
Sam Darnold is playing with he's playing with a ton of confidence. He's not had a run attack in the last 2 weeks. Their defense is playing good, and I think to me he's playing with so much less baggage on his back being out of New York. Mm-hmm. This kid played decent in Southern California.
He did, and he showed he could make a lot of pro-type throws. I mean, he'd make some bad decisions, but he had the ability he showed with his arm.
Exactly. He was a whole lot like Joe Burrow, except he didn't have the Burrow 70. I mean, he doesn't have a gun that can go 70 yards. Mm-hmm. Burrow was a little more athletic. Burrow can move around the pocket a little bit better, but he can still. Sam can roll and do bootlegs and still throw the ball off his back leg or wrong leg, and he can still throw it down the field 30 yards. Numbers puts up there. Jones is still better than Darnold. I agree with you. I think Jones is still better than Darnold, but look. Darnold's not a bad quarterback. He is a better than serviceable quarterback. And, he doesn't fumble the ball. He doesn't throw the ball up for grabs a lot. He is what Carolina needs. Somebody steady. He's bigger than Burrow. That's the one thing. He is a bulky quarterback. I mean, this guy's carrying 230, 235 pounds with him. He's a big guy, but he's a guy that can be coached. He listens. He's not a big mouth, and I like his attitude. I didn't really like the way they did him up in New York, but now in Carolina, I think
the other New York quarterback, could he benefit from a different change of scenery or something?
Daniel Jones?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Not that good.
What do you think, Tim?
I don't think so, because I don't really see him. Like, is he really done anything in the pocket? Like, he's not exactly had the best receivers either.
Mm-mm.
Well, I look at Jones this way. Jones in college, he played well, but he didn't play.
He didn't play number 12 pick in the first round.
No. Name a game where Duke, he came back and beat a team by 20. I mean, they're down 20 and they come back and win by 20. You can't find it.
No.
He didn't carry that team. He played well, and was a serviceable quarterback in the ACC. I'm with you, Tim. I'm not sure a change of scenery. I think a change of scenery for him probably would be the bench. What do you think?
Right. I mean, he could be a serviceable backup for, like, maybe some other team, but I don't see him being a starting quarterback. Oh, Chase Daniel's been a backup quarterback for how many years now?
Right. Let me a question for you guys. He gets traded to Denver tomorrow. Does he start in front of Bridgewater? Tim?
Ooh. You know what? Maybe because he has a little bigger arm, yes, than Bridgewater.
Keith.
Who are you talking about?
Talking about Daniel Jones in with the Giants. If he got traded tomorrow to Denver, would he start in front of Bridgewater? What do you think?
Well, not tomorrow. Why? I mean, they would want him to learn the offense some first, but
let's say
take a look at him in practice, I would imagine.
But let's say a week from now, would he be the starter? You say yes or no, Tim?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You say he would start in front of Bridgewater
because he's got a little bigger arm than Bridgewater does right now.
What do you think, Keith?
I think the coach there might. It depends. I mean, if Bridgewater's just going out there and stinking the joint out, then yeah, maybe he puts him in there just for a change. But I think he'd. I don't think he's just going to put him in there, without having a real bad performance. And maybe that's what he's getting out of Bridgewater. I couldn't really tell you. I haven't looked at his stat lines, but I think there would be a little bit of hesitancy. I wouldn't be surprised if eventually he got put in there ahead of him. I just don't think it would be immediate.
I think it's a push pretty much, guys. The only thing I think wouldn't be a push, Jones fumbles the ball a lot. Jones fumbles the football. Bridgewater does too. Bridgewater fumbles some too, but Bridgewater's such a bigger guy. It would be hard for me to imagine Bridgewater getting benched for Jones.
He's got a lot more starting experience.
He really does. And the thing of this, he played well in Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people did.
Well, he guided the Saints to some ugly wins when Breeze was out that one year with the hand injury.
Mm-hmm. And then last year he went to Carolina, and Carolina fans at the end of the year were like, what the hell are they doing? They're getting rid of Bridgewater. We've got a chance to be a wild card team with.
And then when they brought in Darnold, they probably thought, now what are they doing?
They really didn't like it. They didn't. They're exactly right. And it's been gold for him so far. But Bridgewater played well for him. Bridgewater is not – he's better than a serviceable quarterback.
Yeah.
When I
he
say
doesn't lose games. He's just not real flashy.
I would rather – I mean, look, I can list you at least 5 that I'd rather have than – I'd rather have Bridgewater than – I'd rather have him than Tua. I don't have any confidence.
Oh, well, that's a no-brainer.
I don't have any confidence in Tua the way he plays now. The kid down in the Saints, boy, oh boy, he's capable of throwing four touchdowns, but he can throw four INTs just as quick. And I'm talking about Jameis Winston. In a season, give me Bridgewater if you're going to give me one of those two. Now, I think a lot of people will disagree with me there because Winston.
I would like to see him, him and Peyton working together a little bit longer before I'd want to say that. But yeah, I mean, he does have that potential to get really wild and that gunslinger type of thing going. But
then look at Goff right now. Goff has done nothing for Dolphins. I think we all expected Goff to have won one or two games for them right now. They've done nothing. But guess what? Go find their roster. Their roster sucks, man. They have. They
got a coach that's all heart and a team that can't match it.
Yeah, they just cannot. They can't do it. They just cannot do it.
Yeah, he probably needed to change his scenery, but he didn't need that one.
Yeah,
right.
You're right. Yeah. Any other place would have helped. Washington, Carolina.
Well,
Miami.
Just somewhere where you get a few seconds to make a decision.
Well, yeah, anywhere with a little bit of a line and at least somebody that you don't have to look. I mean, you have to look up their name in a phone book to know who the hell you're throwing to every week because, I mean, they have no idea who's playing receiver for these guys week to week. They're just not that good, and that's a shame because
maybe him down in New Orleans would work better than
exactly, or Miami, and then look, the one every time we talk about Carolina, we talk about Miami, we talk about New Orleans, we jump over Atlanta. We just give Matty Ice a pass. When do they finally say, "Look, we got to get rid of this dude"? I mean.
Let me look up how many years is left on his contract, and then I'll tell you how many years.
He's not getting any younger.
I think they kept him because they just had so many other needs probably to address, especially on defense.
He's just. And this week, let's see, did we pick him even? We all three had enough confidence in Matty Ice against the Dolphins. We picked him. I want to say he's maybe in his final.
I don't know if that's a display of respect or trust for Ice or just that the Dolphins just suck. A mess.
Yeah. The Dolphins did not play well over in England. I watched them play. They had their chances of beating Jacksonville. Jacksonville almost played the perfect game to beat them, but that's a shame that they have to play that perfect a game to win. Jacksonville played a good game, and if they play some more like it, they're going to win more games. They really are.
So how many teams right now is it like you just want to cry clean up in aisle 13 or something? I mean, is it there's a few of them.
The Texans, yes. Texans, you got to agree with that. And Miami, do you guys agree that's a cleanup?
Yeah.
Atlanta, is that a mop up and clean up too?
There's probably a few parts you can work with there, but
right.
You got don't you
probably half the roster.
Don't you almost have to go get a new quarterback and start from there though, and kind of crank that team up because, I mean, right now reloading. Matty Ice is 36.
With 2 years after this, however, that's just the contract. He'd be owed a $7.5 million roster bonus for next year, and for the next 2 years, actually.
You skipped over the Jets, did you there, Rob?
Oh, I hadn't even got to the Jets yet. I was working my way up. I was just working my way up. I hadn't got to Washington yet. But shit, trust me. There's a mop on 3 aisles there in Washington,
by the way,
it's not. It doesn't only pertain to the stadium. It pertains to a lot of the shit that's going on in Washington.
Rivera not only doesn't have a big enough dustpan, he's probably inside of the dustpan.
Oh, he's probably in the trash can. He's probably in the trash can.
The only reason that the emails got leaked with Gruden is because of Allen, the GM.
Mm-hmm.
Bruce Allen.
Like you're corresponding with somebody from another team. Usually that's tampering at some point.
Well, you can talk to him. I think you can talk to him. That's not a problem there, especially – he was talking to him. Remember now, he wasn't even a coach then. He was talking to him when he announcing on for What network was
Well,
he with?
18. He was coach of the. No, I guess he wasn't. He's only 19, 20, and okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's not tampering.
No, he was talking to him, sending emails to him. They wanted to bring him in as a coach, and he didn't want nothing to do with it.
Cody Bellinger, 3-run homer tie game.
Oh goodness.
Bottom of the 8th.
Watch out. Out. They're there. Yeah. And how old's Matty Ice? You got that in front of you?
I do.
37? Maybe
36.
36.
Just turned 36, it looks like.
Okay. I would not build my team around him now. Right now, I would be forced to have to restructure and be like, guess what? We're going a different direction. Then chances are he gets traded.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah.
Seems like most likely scenario. He goes to a team that thinks of themselves as a
contender.
Team that could make a run with that spot.
The Bears.
Upgraded.
The Bears.
No, I don't think the Bears would do it.
No, because I think they still want to give Fields a fair shake.
All right. How about Washington? How about the Eagles? How about the Eagles now?
Well, Washington would have to pull that trigger pretty quick though, because if they don't, they're not going to have a chance at the division title, and they probably really don't anyway.
Right, and it may not even be this year, maybe next year, but they still got two more years on it. Rams are happy. I don't think they have to worry. How about the Seahawks?
Oh, yeah.
How about the Seahawks?
Well, the problem is I have to check their cap room. And then what do you do when Wilson comes back? Do you think Ryan wants to play second fiddle? I don't think so.
Right. Probably not. And then the Raiders? How about the Raiders? Raiders have been playing over their head.
What about the Eagles? If they could, if their defense shows that they can, generate a lot of pressure on the opposing quarterbacks.
Denver's another team.
He's at least, he'd be in fact, he'd probably start over like if Daniel Jones compared to Bridgewater.
Yeah, and the thing of it is, you wouldn't worry about him. You couldn't send him to the Giants because Giants they are too much of a mess right now. They need help on both offense and defensive lines.
Oh, the Giants are another cleanup.
Yeah, they are in mop up. Yes, they're in mop up role.
That's a mess with some broken glass in it there.
Tennessee would be an interesting spot if Tannehill had problems, because that's I think.
Yeah, you might be able to say that about Pittsburgh too.
Yeah. Pittsburgh could be a place you could step in. But think about this: can you find any quarterback that plays in the NFL right now, any serviceable starter, that if he went to Tennessee couldn't win some games?
Well, of course. I mean, as long as you want to play old school football and run Henry 30 times a game.
Right. You still got to be able to throw those 15 to 20 passes a game and not lose the game for you.
But for God's sakes, you got Julio Jones, who's still serviceable, and then you have the other kid that's really good. Can't think of his name. Like AJ something.
Green.
No, he's with the Cardinals.
Brown.
Yes, Brown. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's still pretty good. And then with either of them two, you should be able to throw 20 passes
and try to win anyway.
Right.
But when called upon, that's the thing with Tannehill. But when he's been called upon, he's not always showed up for the big games. When the other team decided their offense shows up and they're going to put 35 on the board, you can't leave it always up to Henry. You got to come back there, and you got to sometimes be ready to throw the 30, 35 times. And that's when Tannehill, I think, has really let that team down. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, that's part of the reason why he didn't succeed in Miami.
Yeah. The thing of it is, I think that's the most well-set team from ground all the way up, because they've got probably the top 3 offensive line. Their defense line's not bad, If they could put more pressure on the quarterback, that team could be deadly. And
and then you could also say that about Henry. He got stuffed pretty good against the Bills. Yeah. And you can't, like I said, you can't have it be one-dimensional in the playoffs, or else you look like the Browns did on Sunday.
And the thing is, folks, the Titans are going up against a Chiefs team that's underperformed all year. But the Chiefs are 4.5-point favorites. Me, Keith, and Tim all smell a rat there. When you've got a team that can run the football and can play defense, that's the two majors for me over a quarterback. If you can run the football,
I just worry about the Chiefs' defense being able to do much against stopping. I mean, Henry might go for over 200 yards against them if they.
And that's the thing. That's why we all went with the Titans, I guess, because we all went with the Titans. We did not go with the Chiefs. And that's I think that plays a major role in it. When you got a team that can run the football, when you tell them, you look them in the eye and say, guess what? We're running this play. And they still hand the ball off and they run for 6 yards. That's telling a team, guess what? I don't care what you do. We're doing what we want to do. Most teams play off of what the other team does. If they put 9 in the box, then the team, they're going to change up and throw the football. Tennessee does not do that shit. You can put 9 in the box. They're still going to try to run. And if they can get by the 9th guy, they don't have but 1 to beat most time, 10, because somebody else is blocked. They don't care. And that's why I give the coaching credit at Tennessee. I think that's a team that's I think you better watch out for them before the year's out.
Yeah. There's a trick play that teams use that I was thinking about, and I don't even know if it's really worth the gamble to do it, and that is the Flea Flicker, because isn't it, I mean, aren't you doing just as well to just have somebody that does a real good play action or, a fake handoff and then hide the ball? And, if the running back can act like he takes the ball and head to that line to draw those defenders up, isn't it doing the same thing without taking the risk with the ball?
Well, but the thing is, though, is you're pulling the corners in if you really sell that. The thing is, you can do like the run up to the line, back, and pitch it back to the quarterback.
If you actually hand that football off, and they physically see that ball in Derrick Henry's hands, they figure 99 or 97% of the time he's running. And they're willing to take that 3% chance that he's not going to turn around, throw the ball back. You're right, Keith. There's a lot of pieces and parts that's got to work.
There's a lot of things that can go wrong with those exchanges like that.
It is. But they block the edges better. They stay in and hang their blocks because they only most times send one on the route. There's only one out there, and he's going for his life and running for his life from the time that ball has been centered. And by the time it gets back to the quarterback, he's 40 yards down the field.
Now, I assume the offensive line on those plays goes into a run block type mode just to help.
Yeah. You going into a pass block type situation, but you're playing zone block. You're playing your zone block. You cannot play one-on-one. You got to cover your area, and you got to make it where if they're going to get to the quarterback or going to get to the runner, they got to go all the way around the line to get to him. And it's almost like they're almost arm in arm, 7 wide right there, or 8 wide, and sending one guy down the field, handing it off to Henry, selling it as a run, even though you can't go down the field. If you go down the field, that's illegal man down the field, so you can't do that. You still got to sell it like it's a run, but you got to stand at the line and do as much pass blocking as possible for that 2 seconds where he can get the ball back to him, and then you don't have but 1 second to decide at quarterback. Go for it, throw it away. There's not 2 options there.
Which is why I'll call it the Tomlinson special. That run that down within the 10-yard line, you get the running back runs to the line, can either do the throw the ball, maybe the tight end's open, or head to the flag.
Yeah.
I love that play. And he threw so many touchdowns. on that play. Well, it helped you.
I don't have a problem with that one, especially when you're running wide. Most time you don't have over one or two guys who can get to you, and
right.
they don't have straight shots at you like they do with a flea flicker.
Mm-hmm.
Man, oh man, I'll tell you what. This weekend we really shouldn't see a lot of college. Really, not a lot of good games this week. I mean, how many? Let's see how many double-digit favorites is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 double-digit favorites out of the top 25. That's a lot. That's a lot.
Dodgers take the lead. Mookie Betts double.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, I think they may come back and beat them in 6 games, maybe 7, but I think they come back and win that.
I hope not.
What's last second thing here? Tim's going to tell us what Boston and last he heard it was
2-1 Boston.
2-1 Boston.
Second inning.
Yep.
All right, gotcha.
Right.
Any loose strings? Anything we? First off, let me say this, Harris.
Mm-hmm.
I hope you're having a great time on your cruise. Number 2, Matt Sharver. Get better, my friend. He's sick. He's laid up in the bed. He's been sick ever since the weekend. Number 3, but final, but not to, last but not least, Anthony Crooks has become a grandfather again for the 6th time. Another grandchild, and they're expecting and somebody else in his family next week. So he's expecting another grandchild next week. So Anthony,
the guy that
congratulations.
The guy that I met at it was a little bar tonight. You know, he's 78 years old, and he lost his wife just recently. She was 74. At one time, several years ago, she had a stroke because I know that one side of her body was kind of partially paralyzed or whatever. Well, he told me what happened was she had gone in for a colonoscopy, and they removed several polyps, and there were a couple that were larger in there, and they were kind of afraid to take them out at the time of the colonoscopy, so they put her in the hospital to do that, to take those out. Well, she got COVID when she was in there, and she died from complications from that.
And I'll tell you what, whether you agree, disagree,
pneumonia and heart failure,
to get the shot or not, the main thing is, folks, you got to realize it is for real. It's for real, and it's not going anywhere for a while. It's really not. So all I say is this: agree with wearing the mask or don't agree with wearing the mask. But if somebody asks you when you're going into a store, we would prefer you wear a mask, don't argue about it. Wear the damn thing while you're in there. You can always, when you get back to your car, take it off. Now, I'm not wearing one when I'm driving down the street, and I see other people wear them down the street. I don't have anything against them. I'm just saying what I do. If I'm in my car with my wife, we don't wear one most of the time. But if somebody requests it at their house, especially at their house bed, wear it. Wear the damn thing. That's somebody asking you to do it. Stores, any service or business, just wear the damn thing. It's not hurting you guys. It's really not. And look, if it does bother you that much, go in, do what the hell you got to do, and get out. John Wise, I'm vaccinated and I wear a mask everywhere. That's what John says. I don't wear a mask all the time if you see me, but if I'm asked to, I wear one. So, Tim and Keith, it's been great, guys. I tell you what. Tim, you got that big high going on, that big week you had. Me and Keith got to catch you this week. We're going to see if we can.
Yeah, but usually my high is sort of met with a 8-8, so we'll see.
Well, you don't have to worry about 8-8 in pros this week because some of them's got the bye week again.
Right,
this week,
so up until like week 12 or week 13, I think you get bye weeks.
Yep. So they're going to be bye weeks the rest of the way for a while. So, I'll see you again.
Good seeing both of you.
All right.
For the guys in the chat.
Check us out next Tuesday night. We'll have college and pro picks. Definitely catch us. Tim, For Keith, my name is Rob. Check us again next week. We hope to have more than 3 of us, and if you'd like to be on here, contact me through email or leave me a message right here. I will hook you up. Have a good one, guys. Bye-bye.
Good evening.
All right.